Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Tatiana. Tatiana is a name of early Christian Russian origin in homage to a 3rd century saint who was martyred in Rome for her Christian beliefs under the pagan emperor Alexander Severus. Her father had been a Roman civil servant who secretly raised Tatiana with his Christian beliefs, and eventually she would become a deaconess in the church. The Romans captured her, and when she refused to pay homage to their god Apollo, she was blinded and tortured. Miraculously, an earthquake shook the Apollo temple and his statue fell. Unmoved, the Romans then threw her into a lion's cage during a circus, but again, miraculously, the lions refused to come near her. Finally, she was beheaded. It certainly seems that during antiquity, the Romans loved to indiscriminately kill people, and Christians happily embraced death for their faith. The church is riddled with these stories, and Tatiana is no exception. The Eastern Orthodox Church, Byzantium Empire, embraced this story more so than the Western Roman Catholic Church, which is how Tatiana became particularly popular in Russia, Eastern European and Slavic nations. St. Tatiana is the patron saint of students. The name Tatiana is actually the feminine form of an old Roman family name Tatius, from the Latin Tatianus of unknown origin. In Roman tradition, Titus Tatius was king of the Sabines in the 8th century BC, who later co-ruled with Romulus over all the Sabines and Latins. Therefore, it is commonly believed that Tatiana is ultimately derived from a Sabine word now defunct with forgotten meaning. Tatiana is still mainly used in Russia, with the pet form being Tanya, and other Slavic and/or Eastern European nations. English speakers did not adopt the name until the late 20th century. Personality of the girl named Tatiana. The 3 energy is powerful and enthusiastic. These personalities are cheerful, full of self-expression, and often quite emotional. They have an artistic flair and gift of gab that makes them natural entertainers. Their joyfulness bubbles over, and their infectious exuberance draws a crowd. The 3 personality is like a child, forever young and full of delight. They are charming, witty, and generally happy people. The 3 personality lives in the now and has a spontaneous nature. 3 seem to live with a bright and seemingly unbreakable aura that attracts others to them. In turn, they are deeply loyal and loving to their friends and family. Luck also has a tendency to favor number 3s. Popularity of the girl named Tatiana. Tatiana made her debut on the U.S. popularity charts in 1980. The late 1970s and early 1980s marked an era of political reforms between the United States and the Soviet Union. This sparked some economic immigration, during which time many famous Russian artists and athletes came to America. We think this is how and when Tatiana came to exist within the general U.S. population. Tatiana has such a strong association with Russia, more so than other Slavic nations. Tatiana was Russian royalty and one of the Romanovs, sister to Anastasia, who were brutally assassinated by the Bolsheviks. Like Anastasia, Tatiana is a gorgeous Russian name. And let's not forget that Tatiana is the queen of the fairies in William Shakespeare's comedy, A Midsummer Night's Dream, so she is often associated with magical mischief. The peak popularity for Tatiana in the United States came in 1999. As we've entered this new century, the name is slowly falling from favor. Still, we love these Russian beauties: Tatiana, Sabine, Natalia, Nadia, and Anastasia. They are all strong and confident, yet feminine and beautiful. Quick facts on Tatiana. Gender, girl. Origin, Latin. Number of syllables, 4. Ranking popularity, 538. Pronunciation, Tatian. Simple meaning, unknown meaning. Characteristics of Tatiana. Creative, popular, social, optimistic, dramatic, communicative, happy. Cultural references to the baby name, Tatiana. Literary characters of the baby name Tatiana. Tatiana is the queen of the fairies, wife of Oberon, the king, in William Shakespeare's very popular comedy, A Midsummer Night's Dream, believed to have been written between 1590 and 1596. Tatiana indeed sounds like the name of a fairy queen, with its lilting yet regal tone. In Shakespeare's comedies, there are always mistaken identities, love potions, and complicated plot turns before all ends well. This is no exception, and Tatiana is tricked, by a love juice applied to her eyelids while asleep, into falling in love with the first creature she sees upon awakening. This turns out to be Bottom, a young actor, who has been given the head of a donkey by the mischievous Puck, all of this on Oberon's orders so that he may obtain Tatiana's young charge for his own personal servant. Once he has attained his goal, Oberon orders Puck to remove all spells. Naturally, several other young lovers have been adversely affected, and all returns to normal, with the principals believing they must have dreamed it all, for after all, the course of love never did run smooth. Nothing out of the ordinary in a fairy queen's day. Famous people named Tatiana. Tatiana Sorokko, Russian model. Tatiana Kotlyar, Argentine model, St. Tatiana, 3rd century saint. Tatiana Perebiynis, Ukrainian tennis player. Tatiana Pouchek, Belarusian tennis player. Tatiana Panova, Russian tennis player. Tatiana Golovin, tennis player. Tatiana Garbin, Italian tennis player. Tatiana Borodina, Russian opera soprano. Tatiana Romanov, Russian royalty. Tatiana Bulanova, Russian pop singer.